If you have ever been part of any of our educational events, then you can attest to this. That is our sincere desire to help you grow. We want to partner with you to help you increase your sales because if you're successful, then we're successful, and together our industry thrives. So in today's video, we want to talk about how are you thriving and what is H&H going to do to help you continue that tradition of growth and success into 2021. So come check it out. This conversation with the lab, what we're going to discuss is two things. The first is we want to talk about how studios, how you are making up for that lost income by making the most of this winter. And we also want to give you a sneak peek, sneak preview, if you will, on our volume education for 2021. But before we get into that, we're going to do some quick updates and announcements. First of all, is if you haven't noticed that our service time for schools and sports right now is running at about 3 to 4 days. And this is important because FedEx Ground, UPS Ground, and the U.S. Postal Service have announced that December 15th is the cutoff date for Christmas delivery. What this means is any orders placed after December 9th may need a shipping or production upgrade in order to arrive before December 24th. And so with that being said, there's going to be two ways that you're going to want to be able to keep up with the order statuses for those orders that are time sensitive. The first is to opt into our text updates. So each Monday and Thursday morning, we're going to send out an update letting you know what the current production lead times are. And you can subscribe to that by subscribing to the number 816-203-3803. And I'm going to put that in the chat here if you're here live with us. If you'll text the word photo to that number, then you'll subscribe to our weekly updates or our twice weekly updates. The second way, say you want to be more specific on a particular order, is you can download our app. Did you know that H&H has our own order tracking app? That if you go to the Apple App Store or the Android, that other place, App Store, you can download our H&H Color Lab app, and you're going to use the same credentials you use to log into the website, and you can track all of your orders that are in the lab and then have left the lab, and you can see those FedEx tracking numbers for those orders that have left the lab. So two important tools there to keep tracking with those orders that are coming through the lab and that we need to deliver. I do see David is doing a good job not socially distancing from his wife. Good job on that, man. David, why don't you give us an update? What's going on, man?
Well, I would say the three things that are going on right now at H&H is number one is, of course, the Christmas production. We're keeping a very close eye on having the right people move to the right places. We are so thankful we've invested so much in cross training so that we can move people wherever the work is, especially as it ebbs and flows in the final approach to Christmas. We're in close contact with FedEx. I wish I could tell you we're in close contact with US Mail, but I don't think they return anybody's calls. So we're watching them closely, but they're just the US Mail. So both of those allow extra time because both of them are just like, yeah, we don't know what to tell you. Overall capacity for the year is up 30 to 40%. We hit our maximum capacity a month and a half ago, and it's just what it is. So plan extra time. It's the entire world has shifted their buying behaviors from going to stores to ordering things online in 2020. It's just is what it is. Just plan extra time or you're going to be frustrated. And we have some clout with FedEx, but we can feel a difference right now. Their staffing has changed and everything else. So plan ahead. The next one is we are still really going full blast on all software development and product development. And we will have some pro side products releasing shortly. I think if we're criticized for anything, it's how come we didn't release this 3 weeks ago? That would have been so much more helpful. All I can tell you is we always move as fast as we can, as well as we can. whether it's new phone grips going on Image Host and Santa Pictures, or it's edge blocks with float metals, or a new type of canvas wrap, not canvas crap. Wrap. That was terrible. And that is coming out, should be out next month. And actually, that is a really great product. It's a little, it's a new way of making canvas wraps that we've been working on for a while. So so that should be out next month. So a lot of development going on also on the software side. Sean's been doing a great job continuing to push the email and text marketing forward on Image Host. For those of you who don't know, I am now running Enview as well. And so I'm wrapping my head around that entire platform. We have a really strong team in Enview, and they have a lot of incredible capabilities. And I'm going to be spending some time really, really learning so much more about their capabilities and how we can more tightly integrate it with what we know from the studio, like we've done on the school and sports side. So where you see a school program, a sports program that really looks 360 at the entire program, we're going to be looking to do that in portrait and wedding side of the business with Enview capabilities as well this next year. So so that's kind of the update. Any questions for me?
Noelle asked if she can get some of that awesome canvas crap.
Yes, you can, and you're going to be thrilled with that.
It's a new hashtag.
Oh, please don't. No.
I just put it in her notes.
Oh, David, you could be a meme. Come on.
Never
I'll
gonna
let
live
you
that.
do that, Sean. You're in charge.
All right, I'll do that in my spare time. I'll do that in my spare time. And I all of a sudden just got 27 more emails from David on things to do. No. Bob, you're sideways, man.
Am I sideways?
You are. Turn it back.
Unplug my charging cord. Hey, David,
Yes,
There you
sir.
does Enview and H&H have the same price list, or are they unprofessionalized?
So there's two questions in your question. One is, do we have the same products? And the answer is no. Enview has about 90% of the products that we actually sell. We have a lot of products at H&H that we sell a few times a year, about 27,000 products in all. I think Enview has just over 10,000 products. The pricing structure is different. What you'll find in some places, because they grew up differently, you'll find that in some places the price is lower, but we charge for shipping. In other places, they have a different name on products just because, you know, they were back in the day, they were collages.net, and then we acquired them. So that's something I need to kind of go spend some time working on to see how we want to handle that. The thing I would look at, I know everyone always wants the lowest price, and that's an important thing. So you can spend some time going through and understanding that. The differences are not a lot. It really isn't. When you really get into, once shipping is added on, the pricing is not that different. I would, because Enview has so many workflow tools in there, that's really where they've emphasized their work. And generally, you're not going to save that much money by the time you're done re-entering an order somewhere else and moving over to H&H. But you know, honestly, I couldn't tell you canvas wraps are this percentage difference in metals or this percentage difference. I honestly don't know. It's something I just haven't gone down that road yet. So I really didn't answer your question, Bob, because
You sound like Washington.
yeah, I kind of do. But it's the most honest answer that I have, and it includes my opinions. How's that?
And the other area we spoke about many months ago is, I like the pricing scheme for the Cincata albums, and you spoke about how that may be the same pricing platform for all the albums. Has that happened, or is that planned?
Has not happened. It is not planned, but when I say that, I'm expressing the intent to simplify how we price our albums. In other words, take the number of panos, like 10 panos, and include it with the cover. So you don't have to do a lot of gymnastics to figure out how much your base album costs. So I think that's a real kind of a pain in how we do it right now. And there's a few other changes we tried to simplify. Like anything else, it's just a matter of us saying we need to tackle this next, and then we get into Excel spreadsheets and work all that out. But that's the truth of it and how it works behind the scenes. But it's our intent this next year to take a look at that and simplify it.
And so the labs likes Cincata methodology, the pricing.
What's that?
You like that? You like that method better?
I think it's simpler. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's much better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Amy, I put a message into your voicemail. I need to speak to you sometime soon.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for anyone else? Well, I have a question for Noelle, actually.
Okay.
Why did you show up so late?
Because I thought it was at 12.
I was playing Christmas music before we started in hopes that you would be here and have a dance party, and you never showed up.
You know, I think you might have my phone number at H&H. Y'all just call me next time. I was sitting here.
Bang, right back at
rather
me.
been on this
All right.
meeting than vacuuming.
All right, let's get on with it then.
So
Thanks, David.
anyways, what did you get, or have you just started it, or like has it
we're
been
just getting started.
Okay, good. I was like, did I miss all the topics?
Yeah, we're done. Have a great day.
I know. Okay.
All right, let's get back to it. So, couple last announcements. This one I'm bringing back because it came up this weekend on our Facebook group, and that's we did lower order minimums on our school and sports reorders to $5.50, and that does include the packaging and the ship to home fees, that $3.45 fee. So, I know reorders. It's you take their money because they're giving it to you, but processing all those little reorders take a lot of time and effort, and so we want to help any way we can, and that's why we lowered the minimums for those reorders down to $5.50. So that came up, and I want to make sure you all saw that. Also, if you haven't heard that we did match images to data with our QR cards. So it's a camera card with a QR code on that. And that's a fantastic way to do data match when you're not able to scan on site and you're getting the data ahead of time. And we've got an excellent video talking about that on our YouTube channel that shows you how that works. Also don't forget, we did update our export feature. So now in addition to the general purpose export, we have the custom export option as well, which is giving it an upgrade. And then if you haven't heard, we also supercharged our email follow-up marketing campaign on HH Host to a full-blown marketing funnel. And we're going to have another update to that this week if everything tests out correctly, which I'm really excited to share with you once that comes out. And David did allude to, we added some products to HH Host second sale. And then last announcement is I just want to celebrate and say that we reached our 2020 Magic Crop goal of 500,000 images. So what that means, yeah, that's awesome. That means with your help and with using Magic Crop together, we've saved over 1,000 hours of cropping, which means faster delivery of portraits to over 500,000 families across the country. Nice job, guys. Nice job. That's something to celebrate. All right. So I think that's enough prelude and enough announcements. Let's go ahead and get into the conversation. And the first part of the conversation we want to talk about is, what are you doing? How are you making the most of the last part of the year to make up for the chaos that happened in the earlier part of the year? So I want to give you 5-10 minutes for you to share what are you shooting right now? What are you processing right now? Apparently Noelle's vacuuming, but what jobs are you photographing right now? And while you're unmuting your microphones, I also wanted to point out, if you're using the app, apparently not on the web browser, but on the app, there's a way that you can see everyone in the room and not just me talking, because nobody wants that. But if you want to see everyone talking, up next to where you can raise your hand, there's a more actions button. And in there, you're going to look for what is called gallery view. But as we just learned, that's only available if you've downloaded the app and not if you're using the web browser. But that's a nice way to see and connect with everyone because we're having a conversation with everyone, not just with us. So, all right. Hopefully you found where to unmute your microphone. So tell me, what are you doing? What are you photographing?
Now that we're senior citizens, we're laying very low. We lock the doors of the sales room and the camera room, and but I am working. I'm working with the governor of the state of Ohio's coronavirus task force, and I'm shooting video of key influential people to be used in PSAs, shooting them all outdoors. And I'm just spending the month doing volunteer work, only working outside. But as far as I'm concerned, with my wife's health, the doors are locked for now.
Yeah. Clay, I know you've been a busy guy. I'm going to pick on you. What are you doing, man?
Shooting everything I possibly can. Since football got pushed back, we've got a lot of footballs here at the end of the season that we're finishing up, which is good, but also kind of a nightmare because they won't let us put them on risers. So I'm having to take everybody individually and build the groups. Moving into doing a lot of basketball, a lot of soccer, just, kind of rolling with the flow as we start to change seasons. So thankfully, been very blessed that schools are still open, that we can still come in and take pictures, and just moving forward with that process.
Football in December.
Yeah. It's been crazy just because the school year got pushed back. Usually they start football 1st of August. They moved it all the way back to the end of September. And so now we tried to schedule things, but games got shut down because of COVID, this or somebody was that. And so now this week and last week are the 2 weeks prior to them starting the football playoffs here in the great state of Texas. So we got a little time to shoot now.
So you're saying the SEC is going to have some competition over Christmas holiday?
Absolutely.
All right. I like it. Mark, tell me about your area, man. What are you photographing?
So we've been doing everything with schools. I mean, the schools have been up and going since the 1st of September. We've had some hiccups, getting the fall sports in with COVID, shutting down some of the teams. But for the most part, the fall teams, we've done everything online ordering. We completely went that way for all online, and that's been a great success for us. We've also been able to do all of the teams, shoot everybody on screen, and then composite the team image. And that's been really, really well received, and been able to do that. I was able to pick up one of the school's high school bands, which had 160 members in it. First time doing that and doing them green screen. So that was a huge learning there, but was very successful in getting that done. And now we're doing basketball. That's where it's caught us the most. We scheduled to go into the schools and do one setup to shoot the boys and girls basketball teams at the same time, shoot them on green screen. But the problem has been COVID's been taking a lot of the teams out. So now I'm going back this afternoon, Tuesday and Wednesday, to do reshoots on the ones that were out 3 weeks ago. So that's been a problem with getting those basketball teams completed, is trying to get everyone in for the team picture and getting that shot done. Just got a call this morning from the track coach wanting to get pictures taken before the Christmas break is over, so we can get that ahead of coming out. So that's successful to be able to get that done. And then, so we're on schedule with where we were at last year. We just picked up a few extras. And so far it's been good. It's been a challenge to try to get them all captured and then all the work behind it and get it turned around in a quicker time. But it is COVID, and we're trying to do the best we can with what we've got there. Basketball team, we're actually going to do some ship to home, but I'm still feeling really nervous about the ship to home stuff on all that, because I can have it shipped to here. I can get it in 2 days, and I can mail it from a local post office and get it faster than being shipped from home from in the U.S. mail from Kansas City. So I have to consider that as an option too. But basketball is kind of small, for the number of orders we get versus the fall sports, football. So I think potentially we can have them just right here, and we just hand them out at the.
Mark, two things for you. First, for those of you, you're absolutely right. We have a number of customers that are actually ordering the rigid mailers with the address labels affixed. So we do that work, but then we FedEx it to them and they mail it just in the local post office. So it doesn't have to get into the national postal system. It stays local. So I think you're smart for thinking that way right now. And remember that we do have that service of still packaging everything so it's ready to put in the mail. We just don't actually put it in the mail. We send it to you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I was just sitting here thinking about how could we do that, and that's huge. That'd be huge help right there.
Yeah.
So you're saying, David, it's postage is affixed on?
No, we if we put it in the rigid mailer with the address label, we don't put any postage on and we don't put it in the mail. So if we would FedEx that to your local studio, then you'd still bring it to the post office, have them affix the postage and mail it. It's just you're skipping the national system and just sticking with the local regional area.
So price it appropriately, that I can add the $3.66 I'm gonna need on the next step.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Good point.
Yeah, good.
And then Mark and Clay, how have you guys done your compositing? Are you using Pixnub or Rabuku, or what service are you guys using?
For me, Pixnub is who I've been using, and it's been working out really good. This is my really second full year using Pixnub. Last year was a cluster. It was a mess all over the board trying to get these players on that right spot, but this year we nailed that, and it's been really good to do that too. So it's been a great success for me.
Good.
And when I did 168 members in the band, that was even a lot of fun there to do pick stuff.
That's a whole another level.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. How many rows is that?
Yeah.
It's like 12 rows.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the instruments all turn the same way, the brass turned one way, the clarinets turned the other way. So it was, but we had it all kind of planned out. I kind of mapped out like, okay, we got to make sure when this group comes up, all their instruments are held the same way. So we're shooting them on the green screen so that when they cut out, they'll be good. But it was a great process. And the thing is, if by doing this one team, it allows me, I've got 6 more bands that I potentially could get to be about another 1,000 members. So, it's baby steps to get to that next group and without having to go outside the schools.
Good job, man. Clay, how did you do it?
Yeah, so all my football groups I ran through Pixnub. The difficult part has been the smaller groups, your basketball teams, your smaller volleyball teams, 12, 15 kids. So we were basically just compositing, building in-house, putting on our own backgrounds. And then here recently, like just the other day after talking to Sean, I have sent several groups to Rabuku to try their team creator. So I'm actually waiting for those proofs to come back. I sent some of that stuff at the end of last week. So I'm hopeful that stuff will look good, can go through their proof process, and then move forward and take those PNGs and drop them on background and move on down the road.
Great.
So.
Good. Jeff, what are you photographing, man?
So we've got 31 schools that we haven't done because they haven't been in session and won't be back in session until potentially January or February. So we're in a commercial office building, and there was an empty office space. So we rented that empty office space, and we're actually doing drive-up sessions in that office space itself. We reached out to some of those secretaries at those 31 schools, and they were good enough to send out an email of parents, and we featured traditional photos for sharing. We added a Christmas background option and some other things, and it's worked really well for us. So we did that last week. What we did was we reached back into ImageHost for this week and pulled emails from students that prepaid online or parents that paid online last year, and did an email out to the parents for schools where we couldn't reach the secretary to have them, make that marketing campaign for us. and we're pretty well booked up this week, and we're looking at rolling into next week. So, we've generated. And when I looked at the numbers from last week with the numbers of session we had, we generated close to probably $5,500 in sales. It looks like this week we're going to generate probably 4,500 at this point, and we're still booking. I just looked, we're using Square for people to sign up for appointments. We're still booking sessions for this week. So I think we're going to be in a similar area. And honestly, I think the week before Christmas we'll be in the same boat. I think people will want to be photographed. We're just going to have to tell them that, your delivery will be shortly after Christmas, and all of those we've done with the mail. We're doing with the mail to home program. So
Nice.
it's nice to have some additional cash flow from some schools that we'll pay for it on the back end. Obviously, once those students are photographed, they won't be photographed in January, but it certainly helps with the cash flow right now. So.
Yeah,
It's worked out well for us.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that.
The interesting thing to me was we used Life Touch's new price points that they had. They have the 4-package deal. We altered the package content some, so we had basically. I wasn't going to do a $14.99 package. I won't work that cheap, so I did a.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I did a $24 package, a $30 package, a $45 package, a $70 package. And we are by far the most popular package is the $45 package.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Which
the
honestly shocked me. I mean, so.
And what does it have in it?
It has 1 8x10, 4 5x7s, 4 3x5s, 8 2x3 wallets, a digital download, and personalization.
Yeah, the digital download. I was just curious if it had that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I should have just asked that.
Same package with 2 5x7s and 2 3x5s less is the one that we sell for $30. So most people it doesn't have the digital download, but most people are spending the money to upgrade to the $45 package.
Nice.
And then in conjunction with that, we offered them the option of doing a family session, and those we're photographing and posting online like an online proof plan. So they'll have to come. So we'll see what happens.
Man, you are wheeling and dealing. I remember back to your 201 class, and I think I'm going to get this right, that if more than 15% of your customers are buying your top package, it's time to take something out or increase your top package there.
That's correct. And we've sold, actually, I've even sold a few of again, for school pictures, we've sold some $75 packages that, and that's just a couple 8x10. So it just surprises me, but hey, people, we'll take what we can get at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think one thing that is clear from 2020 is amidst the chaos is the value for relationships and family has resurfaced and is very important to folks. And so I'm glad to hear some good news from you, man. That's fantastic to hear.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else want to share before we move on? Or are you just eager for the sneak peek?
Well, I am actually still shooting seniors. So, waiting to hear back from one school. So, I don't know whether I'll be adding another school, but I might be. It'll be a small school. Yeah, it's a local. We have a large school for the deaf here, and I guess something happened with their photographer. So, anyway, I'm just waiting to hear back from that. But yeah, I legit had somebody just book a session, go online. And I'm like, it took me forever to just get a hold of the mom. And she's like, oh yeah, the daughter will do it all. I'm like, okay, but you do understand, I need to at least have that conversation. So I still don't know when I'm shooting that session, but I do have as far as I know, my last session is this week. But I did a cheer team this year for the first time. And so it went really well. And I'm just doing orders now. I wasn't aware of the other option of how to, I guess, ship. So I had 2 emails yesterday, and I was like, why did I look at my email on Sunday? But anyway, so I will look at them this afternoon and answer them. So I was kind of waiting to hear this, but I'm glad you mentioned the other option of mailing, because that may be what I wind up doing to get them shipped here and then just ship them here. Because I've got some of the hard, like 9x12 envelopes that I can send out, and some of them might just have 5x7. So I have smaller ones too. So that is a nice to hear that there's a secondary option, because I know I have a couple of parents going, where are my pictures?
Awesome.
Other than that, that went really well. Figuring out the Excel spreadsheets on the back end's a little confusing, but that's why I gave you my hashtag, Sean. Because I
did
love
get a
it.
reply.
Yes, I saw it. But anyway, so other than that, I am literally just sitting here editing senior pictures. So I have a lot of the income yet to come in, so that's good. So because I didn't have a big early year, so I was kind of where you were earlier in just like everything shut because nervous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
All right.
that's all.
So I'm hearing yeah, Bob, what's up?
They have a Life Touch is the right name, yeah, contract. Life Touch has not shown up yet. There's 350 kids, and the terms were I'd go in there and I'd photograph the whole school on my nickel, and then whatever happens for 350 high schoolers. But I don't know how much there's left for just doing headshots in high schools in sales when they're older kids. Do you have any input on that?
You mean like the formal portrait or the
yearbook shop, basically. School needs their yearbook populated. Life Touch hasn't come through. They're only going to, the terms are they'd only accept the pictures I shot of all the kids, including the seniors. No, all the seniors would have to be photographed the same. No private photos in the yearbook.
So backdrop?
Yeah, picture day stuff. But I could try to sell on the backside, but I don't get paid by the school.
Well, I think for high schools, that's pretty common. It's still underclass work. Typically the buy rate is a little lower in high school, but if you're not getting roped into all the service work that high schools require, that can be decent work. If you're fall, I'd still recommend prepay. But you are, it's underclass work. Jeff, I know you a lot of times will highly suggest focusing on elementaries because of the service work, but can you fill in some of the blanks there?
I think, Bob, you can maybe expect 25% of the kids to buy something. If you're going to do that, I would do it like an underclass, perhaps proof plan. You could shoot it and put it up online. I'm not sure prepay in a high school for seniors is going to go very far. The other thing is, what you might want to talk to the school about, or at least create for yourself, is like a cap and gown option. What some people have found is that if they photograph these kids and they do them in cap and gown, they'll either buy a digital image for graduation announcements, or some of them will buy prints to share in graduation announcements. But that's a pretty tough business. It's obviously why Life Touch closed Prestige. It was that business model. And so, I'm not sure what it's going to return. Of course, the other alternative is to sit there and do nothing. So
it's difficult. It won't be the January, the cap and gown, of course, it'd just be the seniors.
Right.
The other kids wouldn't get that.
Correct.
And no service work, because in Ohio and Michigan, you can't get a cocktail here, let alone send a kid to school. We are so locked down in this region that this could or could not happen.
So Bob, are you talking only seniors, 340 some seniors, or is it 340 in the secondary? secondary underclass. What's that?
4 grades.
Okay.
9 through 12, 350 kids total, shot at the high school over 2 days.
Okay. So with that, you know, your best sales are going to come, you know, that'll drop back to regular, like high school underclass, which if you do that prepay, depending upon the school, you know, you would normally get maybe 40, 50%, maybe 60%. The challenge, of course, is going to be, you know, how that's executed. If you can't get, if they can't get into the building. Now, we've done some schools where the schools are actually closed, but in order to accommodate service items and things for the yearbook, they put us in a space next to the parking lot where the parent comes in, drops off the kid comes in and gets photographed and leaves. And we've advertised prepay and image host prepay. And, you know, we've gotten some orders out of that. So it's just, you're going to have to figure out what your plan to execute that's going to be, and then figure out how you can back the marketing into that to try to extract the most amount of money you can.
God. And they may give me a community building or a school, I mean, a church space. The yearbook guy wants pictures.
Right.
Yearbook.
Yeah, because the interesting thing is that right now, all the yearbook companies are not doing any forbearance on yearbook deadlines because they're trying to push to get yearbooks done and in. I'm sure that after Christmas that will change, but you know, right now it's the same thing. We have a middle school that rescheduled 3 times, and that's finally going off this week because finally the yearbook person said to the principal, if you want me to do this book, we need to get these done. Otherwise, if we don't get them done after Christmas, I'm not doing the book. So now all of a sudden, we're going to open up the building and let you be in the gym, and people can come and go out of the gym, but that's it. So
Same circumstance, exactly. And this would be with passwords generated through HH Image Host type of sale?
Yeah, Bob, you can, if you want to give us a call, we can go through some of the details with you. And this is actually a really good segue into our sneak preview, if I'm going to be honest. So for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and move us on here. I am joined by our co-host, Amy Drum, and many of you already know Amy. But for some of you that have never had the pleasure, Amy, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Tell me
How
about
long you been at H&H? That's the easy question, right?
my entire life. I won't say how long that is. Yes, I have been at H&H, done a lot of different things throughout my career here. Started when I was 9 and worked in production, and from then went to college and then came back, did some customer service work, but now I've kind of been in the education and the planning phase of stuff. So yeah, that's what I do now.
So if you need to move 27 people through a city they've never been in and set up a premium booth, all sharing a single cargo van, and have to schedule everyone down to the minute, Amy's your gal because she can tell you exactly how to do that. We have this little, we call it the Bible, and it's a Google sheet that I think you should publish your memoirs one day on how you make those things. She is
It's fun. That's all I have to say. It's fun putting
master event planner. But in addition to that, yes, Amy does oversee and has coordinated all the events for all of our education events as well. And so I've asked her to be here today because that's what we want to talk about is we want to talk about our education. And if you've ever been to any of our educational events, you can attest to this, that it is our sincere, try that again. It's our sincere desire to help you grow. And we want to partner with you to help you increase your sales. Because if you're successful, then we're successful. And together our industry thrives. And that's still true through 2020 and into 2021. And so we honestly went into 2020, that being our 50th year this year, and ready to continue offering this first-class education for volume school and sports photographers. And as we're coming to the end of the year, we're thankful to report that we were able to continue that tradition, although we've had to make some adjustments along the way, as you can imagine. But this year was not a throwaway year for us. We all fought some hard fights, and I believe we're stronger for it. But we learned some new ways to teach and connect like-minded photographers from across the country. And now we want to take these new skills and apply them to 2021 and beyond. And so we're really, really excited to give you the first glimpse of what that's going to look like. And so that is through what we're calling Total Education by H&H. So you can see here, if you go to training.hhcolorlab.com, you can see this all right now. It's very live. It's not done yet. You're getting the sneak preview, but we are really excited to be able to share this with you, and we want to get some of your feedback and allow you to start taking part in some of this education. So we continue to get positive feedback every time we host a course. But the one thing that we hear time and time again is that we only have that class one time a year. And so we always have folks saying, I wasn't available then. Can we take it later in the year? And having the classes at H&H and getting enough people to come in to hire the instructors to come in, it really does make that difficult. It made that difficult in the past. But so thankfully, the first thing that I want to share with you is we're now going to be hosting our online video courses. And so these video courses are going to allow us to do that, to host our more popular courses a couple of times a year while keeping those course fees as low and affordable as possible. Now, I don't know about you or your kids. Here we go. I don't know about you or your kids, but virtual learning is not always a slam dunk, right? My kids, they need the interaction. They need to be able to verbally process and share ideas. And they need to think through things, and so we want to be able to design these classes to do just that. We're only going to be offering these classes at certain times of the year, and we're going to do that so that we can go through them together. There's going to be live discussion as well as some pre-recorded lessons and live office hours to help us all process what we've learned and immediately apply it to our businesses. And we get that posting a video online doesn't automatically mean you're an expert, right? And not all video courses are created equal, but we are committed to providing meaningful education from proven experts. But I understand you may still have some hesitancy on what this online education thing is all about. So we also are creating what you're seeing here, some shorter 1-hour courses to give you a taste of what we're talking about with some quick, inexpensive mini courses. And this will be a cheaper option than some of our full-blown classes. They're going to be designed to run for about an hour and a half, so you can get a taste of what that looks like. And so the first one that I want to share with you is we've got a couple here, but the first one I want to share with you is this complete guide to sports mini sessions. So if you see that here, basically what we're trying to do is we're creating a course specifically for senior session or for sports mini sessions, and this is so that you can take what you're doing with your athletes already and add additional income with that. You can teach you how to create those wow program images that get your foot in the door that seniors seem to be begging for mom and dad's attention on right now. Not to mention showing you how to potentially add an additional several $1,000s per school that you already have. And we're going to do that by confidently shooting a 15-minute session with killer poses and effects in real time, as well as marketing your new venture with confidence and an ROI with your time and energy. And so, like I said, I'm doing a lot of talking here, so let's show you what that actually looks like. So thankfully, with these courses, you can also actually choose a free preview, so you can see a little bit of what the course is going to look like before you commit to that. So Amy, could I ask you to share your screen and show us that preview for this course?
Yes. Can you unshare your screen?
All right. I've unshared my screen.
All right, here we go. I'm going to go here and here and here.
No audio.
Hang on. I forgot to do the audio part. Sorry. I had a feeling that was the case.
That's all right. So I think you got to unshare and then reshare.
Yep, I'll do that here. We'll do this one more time. Include the audio.
There we go.
There we go. Back here. There we go.
There we go.
What's up, guys? Now we are here at the shooting station. As you can see behind me, we got our athletes, we got a girl, we got a guy, 2 different sports. And so here we're going to break down exactly what your Magic shooting station is, the different effects that we use, all the equipment, and all the good stuff to follow that. So the first thing that I want to mention in this is making sure that you can find a space that can either be acquired by the parents or by the athletic director of the school. If you can't get into the schools, kind of like right now, we are actually in a training facility in my local city to be able to do this. Now, working with your point of contact for doing these mini sessions, it's a really good idea to get your parents to help do some of the work. They can work with the athletic director if you are shooting at the school to get the facility, to make sure the athletes are there and prepared, and to also just kind of spread the word on what you're doing for these mini sessions. So on this one, this is our backdrop. Now, the important thing on this is you want to make sure that it's big enough to carry your area. So traditionally, I bring some type of turf if I'm doing a football player, a soccer player, baseball player. But in this situation, we have plenty of turf. So make sure that your backdrop gives you plenty of space between your athlete, the camera, and the backdrop. That's really important in this case. So on this one, this is, I think, a 10-foot backdrop that we're using here. And make sure it's black, because that's really going to help our water and our smoke stand out. So on this one, the reason why I say the backdrop is a must, that it's nice and big and spread out, because you don't want to have to do much post work later. It's important that the athlete stays within the backdrop, so it's a quick edit, get it in and out. We're here to make money, and time is money, so you should be calculating your time as a monetary resource. One thing to remember is if you are not able to get your own facility like this one, if you're working within the school, make sure you get a room that has a 15 by 15 foot space and at least a 10-foot ceiling. That way your strobes or your backdrop, like our strobe here, is able to go up and down without hitting anything. Good places within the school is the gym or an art class, typically has taller ceilings.
All right. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Amy.
All right.
And then if you'll unshare.
I will do that. Okay.
All right. So what that is, what you saw glimpses, that's just 2 minutes of what's going to be an hour-long course. And this course is specifically designed to help you engage athletes you're already photographing or schools you're already in, or help you get that foot in the door. And it's not going to teach you everything you need to know. This is a mini course. It's going to teach you most of those things you want to know, but we're going to have longer courses and other courses that are going to help fill in those blanks. These courses are designed to show you what these video education classes are about, as well as give you practical information that you can apply today to actually going out there, and in this case, adding income to those seniors that you're already photographing, or those athletes you're already photographing. This particular course is actually being taught by a local photographer, Mike Curtis, who have actually asked us to join us today. Hey, Mike, can you hear me, man?
Yes, I'm here. What's up, Sean?
How are you doing?
Good. Super excited to be here. Who's this guy that's just showing up out of nowhere? Well, it's me. And so, go ahead.
No, I've been doing a lot of talking. What am I living out here? What do you want to say about this mini course you're putting together?
Brother, you've been doing a great job on this. I appreciate it. So yeah, really how it applies to you guys, and it's really great to hear everything that everyone is facing within this group. You guys are the big leagues. You guys are the big dogs and what's going on within this industry. So it's really cool to hear, especially what Jeff is doing and renting out a space next door to be able to do his own booking and scheduling. I think this would kind of apply to something like that, where maybe yourself or maybe another photographer would set up a station and have your athletes come in and book these 15-minute slots. I'm starting to hear an echo. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if someone wants
Noel, I'm going to go ahead and mute you real quick here.
Oh, there we go. There we go. No problem there. So really where this whole mini session idea came from was for the past 2 years, I've been doing this for my seniors. I do senior work, senior portraits, and then also volumes. So this kind of combines them both and makes it a very systematic approach to capturing these images. We use a lot of effects. We use some smoke, we use some water, some stuff maybe, totally not a part of the volume world, but I'm trying to make it as systematic as possible to where it's very clear and it's very straightforward on how to use this to get some real in-camera effects. I know editing time is not something that's attractive to us at all, so we want to get things done as quickly as possible. So again, took the portrait world, what I was doing with seniors, and trying to bring it into a volume perspective to make this, actionable and then hopefully profitable to anyone that takes this approach. So that's kind of the general idea on what this whole thing is. It's, again, like Sean already said, it's 15-minute slots to bring a senior or to bring just really any athlete in. Especially this year, there's a lot of senior parents that are really upset with things that are going on. So there's a little bit more of a passionate or compassionate approach to their seniors. And again, it can be just any athletes in general. And then also you see seniors just in general getting senior photos. Usually senior portrait photographers don't excel in the sports realm as they would in the portrait realm. So again, this kind of bridges that gap and gives both groups hopefully a win on the approach, this year and really moving forward in the future. So
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. I'm really thankful that you're putting this together. And yeah, I love those program images that you show, and I love the systematic approach that you have. So I'm really thankful that you're able to let us share that with this community. So thank you for that. But there's going to be other things on there. We're going to talk about if you're new to sports, why even add sports to your boutique business? We're going to talk about if you're already in schools, how to more aggressively go after additional schools. And those are just mini courses. We're going to make full-blown classes. We're not getting rid of our schools 101 or 201. Those are still core keystones to our education in the volume industry. And so we're going to have those full-blown classes. But if you're not sure what that's going to look like, this is a great way to just get a glimpse to see what that process, what that interaction looks like in this situation. But don't worry, not everything is going virtual in 2021. We're still firm believers that there are some lessons that you can only learn from being in the trenches, being with a camera in your hands, setting up the tent, setting up the picture day station. Those are things that you can try and teach online and through a video, but it just really doesn't click until you're standing there doing it. And so we're also going to be hosting what we call volume boot camp. Now, many of you, if you've attended sports boot camp, it's going to feel a lot like this. So you can see here, sharing my screen. So you can see here, in addition to the video courses that we've got this volume boot camp here. And so June 14th through 18th is going to be those dates for that boot camp. And really every day is going to be designed to be an action-packed with hands-on photography, education, and fun. There's going to be live photo shoots. There's going to be practical experience with some of the best techniques in sales, marketing, extractions, and picture day workflow in 3 of the most profitable areas of volume photography. Not to mention that we're going to be having a lot of fun with some evening parties, some good Kansas City barbecue, tailgating, and cheering on hopefully those Kansas City Royals in the stadium. And so how this is going to work, there's going to be 5 days here in Kansas City, and it's going to be broken up into 5 topics. There's going to be a day for schools, for sales, for knockout, for sports, and for dance. So each day gets its own topic, and we're just going to focus on that. And everything's going to be as hands-on as possible with live shooting and practicals and case studies and all those sort of things. And so we realize that we've got to be as flexible as possible. And so you can either sign up for just certain days to attend those. And I believe the price for that is going to be $99 for each of those. So you can just attend the sales day or just the knockout day if you wanted to. Or you can sign up for the entire week for $395. And so for you, those that are in the hashtag Excel Hell area, I'm seeing you, Noel. That's $395 is going to be $79 a day. That's how that's going to work. And so you can see here, we've got the schedule, what that's going to look like, who's teaching those things, a little bit more information about that particular class. So that's already up here, and you can go ahead and pre-sign up for those things now. And so one thing I will say about that is this year's taught us anything. It's taught us one thing, that we don't have all the answers. But one thing I can tell you is that regardless of how COVID or how 2021 affects all of us, these class sizes will be limited. So we are only going to be taking so many folks to go through these classes in person this year. So that's kind of the in-person, and then we've got the online courses as well. If we go back through those all courses here, you can see we've got our 201s and our 101s and our sports 101 classes and those dates listed here so that you can go in and learn more about that. So all of that information is posted on the site. But also something else to be looking forward to is we're also going to be adding another section to this. And so really, this has not been the first recession we've had to overcome, if I'm being honest. And if we learned anything from the last one, it's this, that portrait photography is a great way for hardworking folks to create additional income and financial freedom. And what that means for you is, for you that are established, portrait volume photographers, is your list of local competitors may likely grow before it shrinks. So in an effort to keep your leg up on your competition, we not only want to keep our commitment to providing you the best systems and workflows and products at a fair price, because let's be honest, these solutions help you keep the jobs you have. We also want to help you, give you tools to get the jobs that you want. And so we're going to be doing this as we're not only going to be continuing our intermediate and advanced education classes like the Schools 201 and the Schools 301. We also want to provide you with credentials from an industry recognized leader in volume photography. And so what I'm talking about is certifications. So in 2021, we're going to be offering certifications in schools and sports photography. And each certification will have specific requirements, but they'll all be based on a similar formula of attending certain portions of the volume boot camp, attending specific courses, video, and completing those video courses, and passing a competency quiz. And so with these certifications, you're going to be able to display them in your LinkedIn profiles, on your website, in your office, and in your presentation materials. So this is what you're seeing. This is where we're heading into 2021 with our education. And I've just thrown a lot at you in a very short amount of time. Before I open this up for questions, Amy, what am I forgetting?
Well, I think the one thing that we have talked about a lot, and I think that's very important in our education, is the communities that we build, and
Yes.
being that we feel in-person training is the best. But we know that it's not always possible. And so that's why we have moved this direction, is to make it so that people who can't come or need education more than just the one time that a year that we typically offer it can get it. So we're trying to make it available and make it more convenient for people, but we do feel being in person is the best. And that's one thing that we talked about as we set up this online education, is each morning we meet together as a group, as a class, talking about the quizzes, talking about what the things that you worked on the day before, answering any questions, so that you can still get your questions answered live from a person, not just listen to a video, not just having to figure it out for yourself, that we can learn from each other. And I think that is really key to our education process. And kind of, just let me say, sort of kind of how a high level, how the classes go is, it's, a 2 or 3 day class, depending on what it is. But each morning we meet for an hour, hour and a half, have some sort of discussion, and it'll be via Zoom or Teams. I will decide how that works. And then the rest of the day, you will have assignments that you need to do, like 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours worth of assignments to do. And then you need to get it done that day. And then the next morning we review it and talk about it and answer any questions. So that's kind of how a lot of the 101s and the 201s work. Some of the more advanced classes are more, group coaching and things that'll be all live and for that matter. But the community and the in-person is super important, and that's what I wanted to emphasize.
Yeah, thank you. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yep.
So we're already over time, but I feel like it would not be fair to you all if we didn't at least open up for a couple minutes of Q&A. So this is your first glimpse seeing this, the first time you're understanding what's going on here. What questions do you have? What is not making sense, or how can we help others understand what we're trying to accomplish here?
Is
Muted.
I heard
I think
somebody say
I think he's
is.
muted.
is the certification over all the courses or over the in-person summer program?
Good question. Good question. So let's just take a sports certification. So a sports certification, you're going to be required to attend the Sports 101 video courses and attend the sales day and the sports day and the boot camp, and then completing a quiz. So you won't have to attend every single class we ever offer in order to get a certification. Each certification will have slightly different requirements, but there'll be a combination of online video courses and in-person courses that you'll need to take in order to receive that certification.
Good.
Good question. Thanks.
And I have a comment. This one's for David.
Yes, sir.
We've known each other, what, 25 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I couldn't get through the online programming with Enview and the Shutter, or whatever it's called, out of O'Fallon, because I can't get past that spokesman and the intimidating methods that he uses to present. And from what I've heard here, it's the H&H style that I enjoy, and I'll see you in Kansas City this year.
Oh, that's great.
You know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and H&H has has invested in education since the 70s. It used to be training. It was part of the local and state and regional PPAs. It's all those different organizations. But I think where we really try to thrive with our own energy and our own speakers is where we see gaps in what's being provided in the community. There's some places that are doing a phenomenal job doing education, and we don't need to chase those things. We try to find the gaps. And I would say also the combinations or the places where two different businesses come together, like Mike was talking about, between volume photography and high-end senior experiences. There's really interesting, that was it's really interesting to see, we get the privilege of working with literally thousands of independent entrepreneurs across the country. It's one of my greatest joys, and seeing how creative each of y'all have been through under maximum stress this year, and all the new business models that are going to come out because we've all been pushed off the dock into the water and had to do some things that are different. And we're having to do that. You're having to do that. But we definitely are constantly trying to learn a different, fun, creative, and inspiring ways to put people up front that are running a real business, that are generating real profit, that can share what they've learned that works, so that you don't have to learn everything yourself. And so I'm really super proud of Amy and Sean for all the work they've been pouring into this, and the people who are contributing, like Mike and Jeff and many others to come, to build this content, because we do think it's not going to be an or. Education has changed forever, and it's going to be some online content. It's going to be personal coaching. It's going to be group sessions. It's going to be in person. It's going to be meeting up. It's going to be meetups. It's going to be all of those things, and finding the right tool for the right part of the class to plug in at the right time. And Bob, to your point, the right personalities that are relatable, that you can actually imagine yourself doing that work. It just isn't about high energy. It's about people who are really doing it and that you can connect with. And everybody has different personalities. So there's going to be different speaker styles and everything else that we're going to try to pull into this. So it's a lot of work. If you guys have ever put together education, these things are not simple to put together quality content. But it is, we think it's worth it. It's a part of our bones It's just who we are, because people keep coming back and asking, and we figure as long as people keep asking, we're going to keep trying to do it.
Excellent, thank you. And a question for Mike. Mike Curtis.
Yes, sir.
You're the guy that created that extreme sports thing that I'm using that I think is wonderful.
Apex, yeah.
Apex.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
That's
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. It's
Cool.
brilliant.
Oh, good. Good.
It's
Glad to hear that.
so many compliments.
Good.
I think it's one of the nicest things I've seen in a long time. And I'm beginning my 50th year in photography next
Whoa.
month. So I've seen a lot.
Cool. That's excellent. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mike, for sharing that with us so we can share that with folks like Bob. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So, any other questions before we wrap up, guys?
I have one question, and he said something about the knockout program. So I just wanted to ask, because I did photograph the team this year on the field, and I have a feeling that if they say, hey, yeah, we want you back again, then they're probably going to want to shoot it on the field again. The field's okay. It's not anything amazing, but I'd like to offer something. So I guess, and it can be an offline conversation. It doesn't need to be here. So if I need to call and actually have a conversation about that, but is it something that if for any event you can just completely set it up? I've just not done any, sorry.
Yeah, so the Knockout Bootcamp is designed exactly for someone like you, Noelle. It's
great.
It's not just for schools or just for sports. We're going to cover both, and we're not just going to talk about green screen or just extraction. We want to go over the multiple types of extraction options out there, where for school, usually it's going to be green screen or masters. And if we're talking sports, it's usually going to be green screen or high key. Or KO Sports, the extraction service, are generally three. And so we're going to talk about all of those services and how the pros and cons to those, and which ones were good and which ones you should avoid depending on the current situation that you've got in front of you. So there's not always a one size fits all. The answer honestly depends on the situation. So we want to be able to arm you with that kind of information. And then also, one of the big things this year is virtual teams. So we want to talk about how do we do groups and classroom groups and teams, and can we knock them out as a group, or if we need to do virtually and create those groups virtually, how can we do that together? And so we want to talk about that information and arm you with that. And that's really what that day is going to be about, is how to shoot it and how to use those systems and understanding the pros and cons of those systems. So here, I just posted a link in the chat if you want to follow that, and that'll give you some more information about what we're going to cover in the schedule that day.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys. Well, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. We are a little bit late, so thank you for sticking around. To tie a bow on this, really, we feel that through education, networking, and partnership, that you can achieve success. And so we want to continue that into 2020 or into 2021 and beyond. So we'll invite you to join us and this year and signing up for one of those classes. And we know that you're really going to love them. So also, don't forget to join our HH Schools Users Facebook group if you're a friend there. We'll be sure to add you, and I'd love you to be part of that group. And we will post a link to this video as well as to the website, this new education website, and that Facebook group so that you can see that and take a look at that. And like I said, it's still under construction. We still have got lots and lots of work to do in that. But there's stuff that you can already go in there and play with and interact with. And if you see something that doesn't make sense, give us a call. Let's figure it out and let's work through it together. So thank you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Mike, and everyone for sharing your content. And I hope we can help each other grow and promote each other's businesses into the 2021 year. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later.
We appreciate you guys.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye.